My name is Lauren Cross, and I'm going to be talking about dictation and transcription systems. Dictation is speaking words aloud in order for them to be recorded, usually in some form of media. And transcription is taking these said words and writing them down. These processes go hand in hand in the medical field because most physicians dictate their notes in one way or another and then have those notes transcribed and added to the patient's chart. Physicians used to record their notes onto cassette tape using a voice recording system. These tapes would then be delivered to a transcriptionist who would listen to the tape using a cassette audio player and type what they heard using a typewriter. And when they were finished, they would deliver the documents back to the physician. Though this is the only technology at the time, one could see how problems could arise in this process. The tapes could easily be damaged, become undone, get lost along the way, and the transcriptionist had to deal with the sound quality of the tapes, which were probably not too clear, and not make errors when listening to it. And the notes, which were recorded all on paper, could easily be damaged as well. The process is also lengthy. It could take a day or two to get the notes back and forth to the doctor. Then technology advanced and these systems became digital and electronic. A physician now uses a handheld device which allows them to travel freely to any room to dictate, including dictating notes while speaking with the patient, and this ensures more accuracy of the notes that are being made. The recorder can then be connected easily to a computer just by using a USB and be uploaded to the computer and saved as an audio file. And this file can then just be sent through email to a transcriptionist. The transcriptionist receives that file, uploads it, and using specialized software can listen to the recording. And this has also made the transcriptionist job more easier. While listening to the dictation, they use a foot pedal that controls the playback of it, whether they want to fast forward, go back, pause. And this also lets them be hands-free. This way they can use both their hands to type on the computer. And this makes just the process more fluid and faster. And once they are done transcribing, they review the notes, make sure there's no errors, and then just emails them back to the physician. And this whole process has significantly reduced the time it takes to receive the transcribed notes and just makes everything a lot more easier. The dictation system has even become more advanced with the invention of speech recognition software. It's also kind of changed the dynamic between the dictation and transcription process. It allows the physician to speak right into the recorder and it uploads their words immediately into the electronic document like the EHR, and it really starts to decrease the need for a transcriptionist. Speech recognition software is able to accurately work because it learns the user's language and speech patterns over time. And it does this by recognizing phonemes that make up the words we speak. And phonemes make it possible to identify distinctions between two or more words that sound similar, such as B in boy and T in toy. Computer scientists discovered that when spoken, different phonemes carry different levels of energy when applied over a frequency, distinguishing one from the other. Along with this, the software also contains its own rules known as a statistical language model, which estimates the distribution of natural language to compare the phonemes to, which means that the language model can identify certain sequences of phonemes that make up actual words of language. Once the software has identified the phonemes, it then groups them accordingly to construct meaningful words. The software also learns through mistakes it makes and the corrections made by the user. And this error correcting can also be applied to different pronunciations of words due to different accents or variations of speech that different people have. Once these errors have been corrected, the physician can save the note and then just move on to the next one. And this type of dictation is much more independent. It's all kind of just within itself. But even still, with this technology, transcription transcriptionists are still being used. The speech recognition software still makes mistakes. So transcriptionists are used to review and edit these documents to make sure they are free of errors. The medical field is becoming more digital and electronic based, and with any technology, there are pros and cons to it. Digital dictation technology allows dictated notes to be uploaded easier into the computer. The audio produced by digital voice recorders is of higher quality, so if a transcriptionist is listening, they can understand what's being said and not have to try to guess or re-listen over and over again until they can get it right. The recorders can also store a mass amount of information just within itself, and some recorders also offer a slot for an SD card so they can store even more information. So you have all this information just stored in one little device, which this can also turn into a disadvantage. To have all this information stored in one device, if it's not backed up or it hasn't been uploaded yet and it gets lost or damaged, then that's a lot of information that can be hard to recover. Also, with the use of email between the transcriptionist and the physician, this is all sending private patient information over the internet, so it has to be protected so hackers and viruses don't corrupt this information. And the best way of doing this is to encrypt the files first before sending them out. That way, the message who it's intended for can only open them. More and more facilities are starting to integrate speech recognition software. It's also becoming available to use on a smartphone, so physicians can now just speak into their phone and it'll upload into the EHR, so everything's starting to become more handheld. As speech recognition becomes more prevalent, the process of transcribing decreases, so they will start to have more of an inverse relationship. Hospitals used to have just a department dedicated to transcriptionists, but as fewer have been needed, a whole department is unnecessary, and either a few have stayed within the hospital or the job has been outsourced. And many, if not most, transcriptionists work from home, since all the documents can be sent back and forth over a secure internet connection. And like I said before, their job duties are also evolving as speech recognition becomes more popular. They're now starting to become more of editors of documents that have already been created using speech recognition, and they just ensure that the documents are free of errors and that the format is all correct. And this concludes my presentation.